Hello, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's good. You're looking very springy today.
Yes, it's feeling springy. It's warm outside.
Does that mean it's like 40 degrees?
Very funny.
Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be 90 tomorrow. So I'm planning to
Whoa.
be spending some time on a lake.
Oh, good
as
call.
You do. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Does that mean it's going to be 90 for me in like 2 to 3 days as it works its way over?
I don't know. Is that how it works?
I don't know. I don't understand time zones.
And weather.
Yeah, either, really.
Yeah.
Did you ask your boss if you could take the day off to go to this lake?
I'm playing hooky. Like, I'm not going to tell him. So.
Okay, nice. Even better.
Yeah.
Fake sick day?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Interesting. I haven't done a fake sick day in a while.
Yeah, I suppose like probably the last few jobs you've had, you've just been able to take time off freely.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucky guy, I guess.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about business?
Business. Let's do it.
All right. Some stuff went down for us last week. There was some movements in the world.
Are you alluding to the big announcement from a large company?
I am, yes. Joel, Spencer, and I are doing our weekly retro, and we're just talking about, things we talk about. And then a friend texts me, and it's a quote. And it's a quote like, "And because of this, we are removing remote control functionality from Slack calls." And I was like, what is this, and where is it from? And then he sends me a screenshot of this email, and then forwards me the email. And it turns out Slack has decided to remove remote control functionality from calls.
I don't even understand. How can you get such a gift? It's amazing.
Don't know. But it was just like, we're like, oh my God. So first of all, like that's just great. That's just a present for us. That's just like Slack's just like leaving the market. That's wonderful. It creates a big opportunity where a bunch of our potential customers have been using Slack, or like basically everyone that's a customer is also a Slack customer. And so it's like there's just a ton of overlap, and they just decided to leave. They're taking their toys and going home. Now, I think this is a reasonable thing for them to do, by the way. This is in the context of we're going to be improving Slack calls. As part of that, we're removing remote control. And I think that actually makes total rational sense. I imagine the usage of the remote control is very low. It's very hard. It takes a ton of work to do it even okay-ish. I totally think this is actually probably a really good call for them. It worked out real well in our favor, I would say.
Yeah, because like optimizing for human faces is different than optimizing for editors, right? When you're sharing things. So like it kind of makes sense that if they're trying to like maintain this basically piece of legacy for them, it could presumably slow them down on improving the
100%. And also it's hard to do remote control inside Electron, which is what they do.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want to keep the Electron thing, which I'm sure they don't want to throw away, you're going to have a hard time getting the control you need, which is what like the determination we came to. So I think it's rational, but man, I got this email and I was like, all right, we got to act like immediately. This is actually a big opportunity. As best we could tell, they emailed, I think, all their paid customers, or at least all the paid customers that had used remote control. I was like, okay, there's going to be a lot of people talking about this, and a lot of people like will start looking around for an answer to this. And so I emailed all our customers, and I said, hey, I have a time-sensitive favor to ask, which is this is what's going down. If you could hop on Twitter and say something about what you're doing to solve this problem, it would be a huge help for us. And people did it like crazy. Like our customers are the best. We kind of dominated the news cycle, it felt like, from my perspective, where just like it seemed like every thread that I saw where someone was like, oh, this sucks. So like one of our customers would be like, hey, I've been using Tuple and it's great. You should check it out. And people would said things that I wasn't even like, I didn't prompt them on what to say really, but people would like volunteer things that were just like great for us to hear too, where they're really responsive. I feel like they fix things quickly when I tell them there's bugs. And it was just an awesome validation to get.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's even better than just people mentioning like, hey, have you checked out Tuple? It's like, no, I've used it.
Yes, exactly.
The hype is real.
And that to me was the strength, was that it wasn't us popping in all these threads being like, hey, you should use us. It was instead our customers saying nice things about us. It was just awesome. And so we had first of all, it was just like heartwarming. It was just like, oh man, this work we put in is paying off. Our customers do like us. They are happy with the thing. Like the things they're saying made us feel great. it paid off as well in terms of like we had a huge surge in signups to the mailing list, as you'd imagine. People were emailing me and DMing me asking for access, just like really sort of kicked off a whole wave of interest. That's a heck of a day.
That's incredible. Whose idea was it to email the customers?
That's me.
Nice.
Yeah. Because sometimes you got to kick the marketing machine into gear.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I was like, okay, there's going to be a ton of people. This is going to be the hot topic for today. Like, how do we be on top of this? And it was just like, well, it's time to maybe spend a little bit of that social capital that we've been building up. Like, if I'm right and we've been building up goodwill by trying to ship a good product and be responsive, people might be willing to help us out here. And they really were. And man, if you were one of those people, thank you so much. It was so awesome from like for the business, but also just for our psyches, just to be like, we are doing something good. It feels so good. It's I don't know. The irrational brain part of me is always focused on, or not always, but often focuses on the negatives and blows those, up to a big thing. So just getting a lot of positive feedback like that was just wonderful.
Yeah. It was a gift to you guys for sure too, because like I remember the same thing building Drip. Like once people were pretty happy, a lot of times we didn't hear from them that often. The communication is often skewed towards the people who are having issues or have questions or whatever. So this is good. Nice for you guys to get a surge of positivity.
I'm like a little scared to jinx it. Like, this is just so good. Like, I hope the protests don't get to be too large so Slack changes their mind, because this is just awesome. Slack calls was never had great remote control. Like, it wasn't that good, honestly. And so they kind of weren't a competitor in the sense that they weren't competitive with quality, but there was always this like drag of, well, I'm already paying for Slack and it has this in it. It's not very good, but I'm already paying for it. And so people would often have trouble like selling their boss on it. It's like, doesn't Slack have this? And they'd be like, yeah, I mean, kind of. And so it was just often like would kind of be a stumbling block in the sales process. Or I think turn people off from like remote pairing in general. They would try it and be like, this is terrible. And they just wouldn't do it again.
Right. Yeah. And it's enough for a manager to ask their team, like, well, have you tried doing this? And the team just says, nah, it doesn't work that well. Then you have potentially engineering management saying like, well, remote pairing is just not a thing that's feasible.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure. Yeah. There's sort of an interesting story here that I think maybe will never get told, which is like the Screenhero Saga. Because the shape from the outside is like Slack bought Screenhero, integrated it into the product, and then removed it. And it's like more nuanced than that. Like there's that's kind of like the official story, but there's more to it. But I don't think it's ever going to get out there.
Yeah. Do you have a hunch on what the deeper narrative is there? Like, because I can't remember, did Slack calls exist, or they didn't have any Slack calling stuff before they acquired Screenhero? Do you remember?
I don't know. I have a little bit of information about this situation, but I kind of can't really say. I wanted to write the story. I wanted to write this up somewhere and just like interview a bunch of people involved and like kind of try to get, like have the definitive answer to like what went down here. But it's like kind of a sensitive thing, and it's a little bit too self-interested, I think, for me to write like a impartial story. Where it's like if I were like at the New York Times, I could dig into all this like sensitive stuff and just like have anonymous sources or whatever. But like I feel like because it's just too adjacent to what I'm doing, it's like I'm gonna look motivated no matter what. And so I just think I can't do it.
Yeah. So my guess, and you don't have to say anything from what you know. My guess is it was more of an acqui-hire than like a technology acquisition. Like they wanted these smart people who had engineered a system like this, and they wanted to build this thing into their product, but they maybe weren't as motivated by the remote pairing thing from the get-go. That's kind of my hunch,
Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna not comment on any of that.
Yeah.
But what a turn of events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Silicon Valley is a weird place where like beloved tools get acquired and shut down or eventually folded up. It's just It's so weird.
Yeah, but I'm honestly just from a purely selfish point of view, it's kind of awesome to be like, oh, like doesn't Slack have this? Like, oh no, not anymore. Then I mean, sure, screen sharing, but not remote control. So if you want to do any of that, then nah. Which is pretty nice for us. It's just like basically I would say the biggest competitor. I don't know, maybe Zoom. Not sure, but just have a giant player leave the space. Man, I couldn't have engineered myself a better change in the market, I would say.
Yeah. Wow. Well, congrats. Congrats on the gift.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. People talk about trying to increase your luck surface area, where like you have to kind of be out there doing stuff and then to be the recipient of like fortunate turns of events. And this totally feels like one of them. Like I said to Joel, I was like, I could almost imagine a timeline where we didn't actually pull the trigger and start working on this. And we would see this announcement and be like, oh, imagine if we'd spent the last year building a product that would just like be, help solve this now even bigger gap. But instead, because we were out there doing it and we've been building goodwill and all that and working hard, like we have this answer and we can take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a smart way to look at it. And like, as I've been thinking about, this kind of aligns with how I've been thinking about my next steps. And like, if I don't arrive at like the idea that I know for sure I want to build, I mean, something I want to start doing is just like continue shipping, whether it's, or not start doing, but continue doing is just shipping regularly, whether it's writing, continuing to podcasts, and then maybe even building some software in like very narrowly scoped single purpose tools that I can knock out pretty quickly, put it out into the world and see what comes back my way. I mean, good things always arise when you are putting things out into the world or putting effort into something.
Yes, and continually taking swings.
Yeah.
I remember an interesting talk by, I think it was Scott Chacon, one of the co-founders of GitHub, or it may have been Tom, I'm not sure, but it was one of these co-founders, and saying like, by the way, like they were a few years into GitHub and it was looking quite successful, and he was like sort of saying like his lessons learned, and he was saying, by the way, like I did like 20 different projects before GitHub happened, and none of them went anywhere really. But I was there meeting people, making friends, shipping, like getting used to shipping stuff, getting it out in the world, and I feel like that's a really common refrain from people. Something I learned about, I don't know if I can say his name yet, but one of our upcoming podcast guests, who is quite well known, had something like 5 failures before his current, large success that he is piloting. And it's just like, oh yeah, like you and I talked to him and it's like, wow, he's just like killing it. It's like, impressive guy doing awesome things. Like, yeah, but it had like, if you talk to him after startup number 3, you'd be like, oh, you're sort of a serial didn't quite make it work yet guy. Like, it just takes time and effort. And I feel like I'm the beneficiary of a lot of my previous projects that were like much smaller, much less ambitious. But now because I've made those mistakes already and learned from them, this is going better than the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think some of it is learning from mistakes. Some of it is just purely, it's a complex system, the world we live in and the markets we serve. So like part of it is just having the amount of exposure that you have maybe positions you to get the early traction that you're getting with this. And if you weren't somewhat of a known quantity in the space that you're serving, then like this may not look nearly like it does right now for you, and
totally. Oh, absolutely.
So many factors go into it. There's maybe some kind of equation hidden under here that kind of dictates like some people start on like one business and then they iterate, and it takes 3 years to get to success. So arguably they've done like multiple little types of startups inside of that, pivoting or just iterating and changing directions until they reach product market fit. And some people will knock it out of the park right away, but it's after doing a bunch of iteration on other startups before that. So like there's kind of this timeline, and whether you're focusing all your efforts on one business and continuing to iterate and pivot it, or you're starting multiple successive things that lead up to your success, like I feel like there's this timeline that's very hard to cheat. So
I would second that. It's hard. And it's like you don't start playing the piano beautifully the first time you touch the keys. You got to work on it and work your way up. And it's like that, I think.
Yep.
So let's all keep swinging and taking shots and doing stuff.
Yeah, just keep shipping. That's the title of my next blog post.
I like it. This is one of my tweets that like had one of the best responses was something like, you can learn more by shipping 1 or 2 side projects per year than reading almost any amount of blog posts, podcasts, whatever. Doing a thing and getting it out in the world is just worth 100x, reading about it, listening about it. I mean, except for this podcast, you should definitely keep listening to this podcast. But also, ship a side project, if that's where you're at. All right, so that was that. That's pretty cool. Also, we shipped, we're almost done shipping international keyboard support, or like non-US keyboards, which is pretty great. We were US keyboards only, and we didn't even support Dvorak, which kind of hurt my soul as a Dvorak user.
Are you a current Dvorak user?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I don't recommend it, by the way. In general, no. So if you have repetitive stress and you want to have an easier layout to type on, Dvorak is nice because you stay in the home row more often. But the annoyances of using other people's computers and tools like Tuple not working for you right away, and Like there's like you run into a lot of weird little keyboard shortcut bugs in various apps because no one's using your layout. And like, oh, but that's a P for me. You're like, oh, but that's actually an R in QWERTY, and we bound the key code and not the whatever. Like there's just a lot of
interesting.
It's kind of not worth it, but if you're having RSI, it might be worth it.
Did you switch, or have you been a long time user?
No, I switched like 18 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. By the way, you know what's weird? I'm 36 now, so things that I started doing at 18, I've been doing for half my life.
Oh, that's freaky.
And there are things that I started doing around 18, and I'm like, wow, I've been doing it for half my life. How about that? So that's
just saying anything 18 years ago. That just sounds like a really long time too,
right? But like, I was kind of, sort of an adult at that point. So it's weird. Like I've been programming for half my life now. It turns out, 18 years is ridiculous. Getting old. That's cool. We found like an edge case, of course, that we didn't support. But I think Joel figured that out today. So like our sort of V1 of that is already out. And I think V2 that fixes the remainder is going out soonish, which is awesome. And then just today, I don't want to count my chickens, but I got a verbal yes on what would be our largest deal yet, which would be pretty cool.
Nice.
So
very nice.
Don't jinx it, but who knows? Might happen.
Was this an enterprise-y type of longer sale, or was it?
No, they sort of came in the normal way. And then we were like, wow, you added a lot of users. And so they came to the end of their trial and they reached out and said, hey, we want to talk about pricing. And we're like, yeah, okay. And so I just did a call with them. And the basic gist is we kind of came to an agreement, which is like, okay, you're going to be hiring this year and you might expand and you're not quite sure who's going to use it or how much. So like, what if we just agreed on a number and that's going to cover you as a site license for the year? We found a number that we were both happy with. And so I like that just because it's sort of simple. It kind of just, the objections were like, well, what about people that stop using it? Or what about this? And it's like, let's just try to just come up with something we both feel good about and that stays like really straightforward to think about.
And then is it annual pricing?
Yes, for the yeah. Well, so I said this will cover the next year, and then we'll talk again in a year and say like, okay, today you have X users. Let's talk about what the next year will probably cost.
Right. Yeah. Nice. I like it.
Yeah, me too. So that'd be cool. Might not happen. I've seen these things fall apart at this stage before, so who knows? Might not go through, but seems good. Seems promising.
Awesome. And you didn't have to do a security audit or whatever.
Don't jinx it.
Okay. I will close my mouth.
We don't need to because we're good. So I'm working another deal that is for a very security conscious customer. And they sent us over, like we have a security doc that talks about how we do what we do and how we're trying not to be idiots about security. And we passed the sort of initial review. Like, so they said, okay, you can try this with limited team. So we're not totally stupid about it. We're trying to do it right. But it's nice when people just kind of say, okay, that seems good. No need to fill out this doc. And the other day, someone sent me a security audit and I was like, sorry, we don't fill these out. Here's our doc. Like, let me know if you need anything. And they're like, oh, this will do. This will be fine. I was like, oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And ridiculous and amazing. So sometimes saying no is great.
Large company stuff, man. So weird. Man.
I hope we never do that. I hope we never impose that on anyone. We'll see. So what's up with you?
Just kind of existing, continuing to, as I mentioned before, to write. So this writing cadence has been good. And the last couple of posts have gotten a good amount of circulation on Hacker News and the Twitter sphere. So continuing to kind of grow the email list, which is nice, on my personal site. Just so much positive reception from people. Like I'm kind of continually blown away by the amount of kind of supportive feedback that I've gotten, and just like validation that like, hey man, I'm still, I'm a fan. Thank you for sharing your journey. I hope you keep sharing. I can't wait to see what you do next. Like, it's just kind of an onslaught. And so I'm
an onslaught of positivity.
Yeah, right. So I'm overwhelmed, flattered, just feel like, man, we have a really special community here.
Totally agree. Yeah, you and I texted about that after your level recap post went out.
Yeah,
it's just like people are just so nice and supportive. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm still getting a fair number of emails a day, and so I'm kind of trying to be deliberate about. For me, a form of shipping is delivering value to people where I can. So I'm getting people emailing saying like, hey, I could use some advice on this thing. And I just read your post and I feel like you'd be a good person to talk to about this. And I'm trying to do that as much as I can, like still kind of balancing, not like spending every minute of the day on calls and stuff, but like it's been good. And I think this is just part of that, call it luck surface area, call it whatever, just putting value out there while I'm kind of contemplating and thinking. And I mean, conversations I have kind of already helped inform some of my thinking on stuff. So I think I'm continuing to do this, and I think it's a good part of my process. So.
Nice. So I wanted to ask you something about the post you just wrote, which is about how you are filtering your ideas for the next thing you might build. Some people should read that, and that's a good post. I liked it, and I like that you're writing more. I think it's awesome. One thing I didn't see on there was, I think, a mention of filtering things that you don't feel personally passionate about. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that I probably could add that to the list. Yeah, I think I did mention like I want to serve my audience or at least have partial overlap with my existing audience, which kind of means like serving people similar to what I'm doing, developers or entrepreneur developers or founders. So I feel like that sort of covers it a little bit. Like if I'm solving my own problems, that's probably stuff I'm kind of inherently interested in. But I think that is an important component. And I wouldn't want to, for example, go build, a tool for construction managers or realtors or something like that. Like it has to be a problem space that I want to wake up in the morning every day and work on. So yeah, that would be a good one to add, I think.
Yeah, I was just curious when I saw that.
Yeah.
I could see that being an easy way to fail, I guess.
Mm-hmm. By picking something that you don't care about at all.
Yeah. Like, I think I could probably stay excited about the idea of building a business for like a couple years, maybe, in a field I didn't care about, but like pretty quickly. I feel like to do anything really great takes 3 years anwoy. And so it's like, I would just see myself kind of being like, do I really care about whatever this particular niche I've picked? And if the answer weren't yes, I would have a hard time staying motivated, I think.
Yeah. I only heard very little trolling, very little negative response to the post. But like the one person who was rude to me was like, this is just devoid of all passion. And like, you have to have passion about what you're working on. And this is so disingenuous. And like, I guess I can kind of see, like, I didn't explicitly mention that, like, I'm one of the criteria being passionate about the problem that I'm solving. I feel like it's kind of was implied, but it's probably worth like also explicitly calling out to myself and potentially adding to the post, that like, I think that is important. So
yeah, I like this phrase of product market founder fit a lot, where it's like, is this the right product for you to build in particular? I think thinking about that is pretty important. Although then again, I bet you weren't like incredibly excited about email automation, like marketing automation. Mm-hmm. And you probably still had it seemed like you had a good time building that business, and it was challenging and interesting. And so I don't know, like I know I have friends that work on businesses in fields they don't really care that much about, but they find a lot of joy in the building of the business itself.
Yeah. I think if the parameters of the business are enjoyable, like I'm not having to do enterprise sales, for example, but getting to build kind of a nice self-service engine. And like if the market that I'm serving is interesting to me, like they're people that I like talking to regularly, because that's kind of important, if you're going to be dealing with support requests and stuff. And I think that was a lot of the joy I had with Drip early on, was like we were selling to like the microconf crowd and kind of a few layers outside of that. But that was kind of just people who roughly were on the same wavelength. And I think that made it enjoyable. And especially in the early days where we were really trying to hammer out product mechanics and what features to build and stuff like that. Like it was fun talking to those people. So I think that's,
gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The audience being really important sounds right to me. We sometimes get bug reports, and they're either like really good, like I have some reproduction steps for you, or sometimes people will apologize, be like, sorry, I don't have better steps. This kind of happened when we did this. I don't really know. But you can tell they understand how to debug a problem.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to get yourself in a type of business where like people, maybe, the customer base assumes that you should be treated like Comcast or something, where people are just always angry and assuming that you're negligent, like that wouldn't be a fun type of business to support.
Definitely. Yep. And that was one of the things that struck me about people when they were talking us up on Twitter, was talking about how like we're responsive and we get things done for them, and that was awesome. That's that was a great validation for like Joel in particular, because he's like the first line of support defense, but just us in general, where like we try to, like, when someone sends us a good idea, we try to build it, and it's just like it's nice to see that kind of come back.
Yeah, it's good to get that reputation naturally too. Not like you're just touting on your homepage, like we are great at support, but like it's emerging naturally from you just doing the work of providing good support. So
yeah, it's like you said, like people are nice, or like generally like supportive and nice to you. I think a lot of that is that you are supportive and nice to the world. Like you share your journey and your struggles and all that, and people respond to that authenticity. This is somebody said this to me, bro. I was expressing kind of the same thing, where I was like, I can't believe how nice people are to me on the internet. And someone was like, you're nice to people on the internet. And I was like, oh yeah, I am. And like I never thought about like the inputs to this equation.
Right.
I was just like, how about that output? That's weird. And I was like, yeah, but like if you were constantly a jerk, I bet your audience would have a lot more jerks in it.
Golden rule kind of applies.
Yeah. And we've been doing this for a while now, and like putting out a lot of things for a long time. And so it's like we have a bit of an audience, and we slowly but surely built up an audience that I think maybe our behavior and our realness resonates with them.
Yeah. And I think that's why, especially right now, it would be a shame for me not to like try my hardest to build a business that solves a problem for these people who have grown to trust me and all that goodwill. I want to continue to provide value through the business that I have. So,
yep, 100%. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
it's such a marketing tailwind.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you can't force that. You can't just that takes time, and you can't be rushed.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like picking a different audience would be such business on hard mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're in exploration mode right now. Do you feel pressure to come up with the next thing?
I'm just trying to abate that pressure from myself. Like no one around me is pressuring me, which is nice. My wife is like, dude, you gotta like chill out. Like don't. Every time I sit back and I'm like, I gotta think of something. She's like, just relax. Like this takes time. So it's good to have supportive people around me. If there's any pressure, it's just from myself. And I kind of talk about this in the post that I'm writing right now, where like this whole like continuing to ship thing is probably the primary antidote for not getting completely restless and stressed out. I mean, even if it's not as tangible as like shipping features, it still triggers the same things in my brain and keeps me sane, Yeah.
New blog post gives that dopamine reaction. Plus, I honestly think you're doing something valuable. You're not just like seeking that pleasurable feeling, but like you're calling people towards you who resonate with you and things like that. The energy of the universe, man.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll get my Adam mention in right now. Like I really admire.
Thought we were going to get through. I said Tailwind earlier, but I was like, I'm not going to mention Adam. Okay.
No, but I really admire like how Adam works. Like he puts relentless energy into everything he does. You can tell that like when he was redesigning the Tailwind docs, and he was like almost a tortured creative on like, oh, it's just not good enough yet. And I like saw some early iterations of it, and I'm like, damn, this looks really, really good. But he just cares about the details because he cares about delivering really good stuff. And I'm trying to apply that. Like, I'm not going to hurry the posts that I'm writing. I want to try to pour that much energy into it to make sure that I'm like, I'm not just dumping thoughts on a page, but I'm actually forming things in a way that like will actually be helpful to people,
Totally. I think that's a good idea. Although I think Adam would also warn you about the flip side of this, which is like a little bit of perfectionism.
Well, yeah, that's the extreme version of it that has to be.
You got to find the middle or middle-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adam is a Tuple customer, and this is why like he is one of my bellwethers for like how are we actually doing, because he will tell me the truth and he has high standards, and it's like people like that are valuable.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
But you're right. He sweats the details.
Mm-hmm.
You should ask him about his TDD course sometime. It has like 240 videos or something ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Because he was like, I'm going to show you how to build a complete app using TDD. And he's like, oh my God, wait a second. This is going to take so many hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well,
I guess that's it.
I think that's it.
Okay. Should we keep telling people where the show notes are?
I don't know. Do they know? I mean, I guess new listeners don't know.
I guess they don't, but wouldn't they be linked in the show notes? Oh, wait, where would you get? No, you get the show notes in the episode thing in your podcatcher.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe we need a new sign-off bit.
Oh, yeah.
All right. If you would like to give us a sign-off bit, you should tweet at us.
Say, I'm definitely not witty enough to come up with one right now on the spot.
Yeah, no, that would be too much to ask of anyone.
Yes.
Maybe for now, we'll tell people where the show notes are, and in the future, we can have a new sign-off bit.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. So where are the show notes located?
The show notes are at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.